Right, let's jump straight into this explainer and honestly violently shake off any complacency we might have about voluntary sustainability. Because I'm telling you, by 2026, zero liquid discharge, or ZLD, is no longer just a nice-to-have PR talking point. It is a high-stakes, digitally enforced legal mandate. We're totally moving away from an era where environmental stewardship was just a feel-good line item in your annual report. Today, dealing with industrial wastewater is the absolute most critical compliance factor for heavy industry, and the rules of the game have fundamentally changed. Picture this, waking up on a random Tuesday to this exact midnight text from your night shift supervisor. Your heart absolutely sinks, right? You already know the effluent quality has been sketchy at best, and you know that tomorrow morning you might be explaining to your managing director why production literally has to halt. Well, through this explainer, we're going to ensure you never have to have that horrific conversation. We are turning your compliance from a massive vulnerability into an absolute fortress. So here is exactly how we're going to secure your factory. 1. The 2026 ZLD legal reality. 2. Mastering the water balance. 3. Smart IoT flow meter verification. 4. Validating RO permeate quality. And 5. Securing growth through compliance. Okay, Section 1, the 2026 ZLD legal reality. Let's look at how the shift from corporate PR goals to strict statutory enforcement completely rewrites your actual license to operate in modern industrial zones.
Listen, the Central Pollution Control Board isn't just issuing polite wordings anymore. They are deploying crippling penalties. We're talking closure orders that halt your operations entirely. They can actively seize your equipment. They can cancel your consent to operate, literally revoking your legal right to do business. And yes, even actual imprisonment for owners or managers. This is exactly why understanding these new enforcement mechanisms has to be priority number 1. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly why regulators are cracking down so hard. The Supreme Court has explicitly condemned what they formally designated a conscious attempt to manipulate ground realities to obscure environmental degradation. Across industrial districts, official investigators found a pervasive, deliberate discharge of untreated sewage and industrial effluents. It's a total systemic failure, where infrastructure was bypassed and toxic sludge decimated local agriculture and groundwater.
Just look at the physical evidence of this manipulation here. You can clearly see tire tracks from heavy vehicles. When the Supreme Court Committee inspected facilities like the Ambe Valley HRTS, they found clear signs of deliberate human intervention. These heavy vehicle tracks were documented right on the riverbed without any ecological justification at all. They were put there merely to cover up toxic sludge right before an audit. The bottom line is, you simply cannot hide behind manipulated ground realities anymore. Moving on to Section 2, Mastering the Water Balance. Your primary defense against these aggressive surprise inspections begins right here, where we get highly operational. We've absolutely got to drop the old paradigm. You know, manually estimating flow based on fabric type or production volume, that's completely over. That old regime relied entirely on notional variables, which failed to capture actual discharge and created massive, systemic loopholes. Now, regulators demand the 2026 paradigm, a precise, machinery-based system. It's a strict, technology-driven, verifiable setup that accurately determines exactly what goes in and what comes out. So, how do we implement this precise system? It requires a highly structured approach. Step 1, you begin by mapping inputs and outputs comprehensively across your entire facility. Then, step 2, you gotta collect and rigorously analyze your process line samples. Tracing every single drop reveals the hidden losses in your water cycle, those incredibly dangerous mixing points within drains and manholes where treated and untreated effluents unassumingly intermingle. Uncovering these blind spots is exactly what allows you to set realistic, actionable water recovery targets without triggering regulatory red flags. All right, Section 3, Smart IoT Flow Meter Verification. This right here is the technical backbone of your legal compliance. Hardware accuracy is no longer optional. It is the absolute core of your defense. So you really need to ask yourself, where must you definitively prove compliance in your ZLD system? It's not enough to just operate a ZLD plant anymore. How will you digitally prove every single gallon processed to a digital-first inspector? Because let's face it, your word means absolutely nothing without verifiable data. If you claim to recycle 95% of your water, but your manual logbooks look suspiciously perfect and clean, an auditor is instantly going to assume you're discharging effluent illegally. The crucial pivot here is implementing these 3 critical stages of IoT logging, moving completely away from manual logbooks to verify your recovery in real time. First up, stage 1, the inlet. Here, your IoT sensors monitor pH to protect your delicate biological treatments from sudden toxic shock loads. Moving to stage 2, the RO permeate. This is where electromagnetic flow meters digitally prove your exact water recycling volume. Finally, stage 3, the MEE and sludge. By tracking thermal efficiency and steam flow in your multi-effect evaporator, you immediately know if you're burning way too much energy, saving you massive fuel costs. And you absolutely have to do this, because the Q3 2026 National Water Environment Monitoring Cloud Platform mandate dictates a critical new reality. Your data must flow via a standardized API directly to the central server. No human editing allowed, 0. This is a massive structural pivot by regulators. If your plant has a PC or an operator acting as a middleman who can open and edit a data file before it hits that central server, your entire facility is non-compliant. Eliminating the human editor completely establishes real-time, unalterable digital verification as the unavoidable standard. Okay, section 4, validating RO permeate quality. Next, we need to focus on validating the actual chemical signature of the recycled water you're outputting to ensure it hits those rigorous reuse standards. Understanding this advanced process chain is super critical, particularly how high-recovery RO systems maintain permeate quality and prevent toxic shock. It naturally starts with pretreatment, utilizing clarification and biological methods to precipitate out the hardness and metals that would totally scale up your equipment. Next, we hit membrane concentration. Reverse osmosis tackles the removal of dissolved solids, maximizing your overall water recovery. Finally, thermal evaporation handles the highly concentrated brine. Using an MEE or crystallizer, it produces a dry, manageable solid waste cake for disposal. This logical progression ensures your output is pure enough for industrial reuse, actually fulfilling the 0 in 0 liquid discharge. Finally, section 5, securing growth through compliance. Let's reframe this whole regulatory shift from a massive burden into a mechanism for securing aggressive industrial expansion. By transforming technical engineering protocols into this foolproof final compliance checklist, you successfully balance your facility's expansion with local groundwater quotas and actually build absolute public trust. You need to review your ETP operation logs digitally, analyze your discharge monitoring data for trends, which prevents those panic-inducing scrambles right before an audit. Verifying your chemical inventory and rigorously inspecting critical IoT sensors proves to stakeholders and regulators that you're a responsible, forward-thinking partner in the circular economy. This proactive mindset is exactly what secures long-term investment. So, wrapping this all up, in 2026, ZLD is absolutely no longer a corporate PR talking point. It is your non-negotiable license to operate. Remember, bulletproof compliance is your ultimate shield. It's not just about avoiding fines anymore. It's about protecting your business continuity in a water-scarce world. So ask yourself, will your data survive a midnight inspection? Get those smart water audits in order. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more videos alike.